grade class from Lycée des Arts et Métiers participating in this year's Young Journalist competition. The topic this year is good and bad research practices.
So my name is Caroline Reinig and this is William Blay. Welcome to our show Unbelievable. So William, what's our topic today?
Well, our topic is conspiracy theories. Given the fact that conspiracy theories are particularly likely to contain false or wrong or speculative information, we decided to focus our research on this topic.
So, how did you go about the research?
Well, in groups we selected some of the most lurid theories out there. We have an expert from each group who will present their findings. Using the internet as well as printed media and books, we came up with a large amount of information.
Okay, sounds good then. So please enjoy the show and give a warm welcome to our young journalists from Lycée des Arts et Métiers.
So, here we can see the picture we are all knowing, where Neil Armstrong is on the moon with the flag. But there is something weird. Conspiracy theorists have pointed out that when the first moon landing was shown on live television, viewers could see the American flag waving and fluttering as Neil Armstrong planned it. The obvious problem here is that there is no air in the moon atmosphere, so there is no reason why the flag is blowing. On the next picture, we can see the lunar module. But if NASA had really landed on the moon, there would be a big crater under the lunar module to mark the landing. On any video footage or photograph of the landing, no crater is visible. We can also see on the picture that there is too much light. On the moon, there is only one strong light source, the sun. So it's fair to suggest that all shadows should run parallel to one another. But this was not the case during the moon landing. Videos and photographs clearly shows that shadows fall in different directions. Conspiracy theorists should suggest that this must mean multiple light sources are present. And next, we can talk about the Van Allen radiation belt. In order to reach the moon, astronauts had to pass it. The belt is held place by Earth's magnetic field and stays perpetually in the same place. The Apollo missions to the moon were the first ever attempts to transport living humans through the belt, and conspiracy theorists contend that the sheer levels of radiation would have cooked the astronaut on the route to the moon. Here, at the next picture, we can see an unexplained object. After photographs of the moon landing were released, theorists were quick to notice a mysterious object in the reflection of an astronaut's helmet. The object appears to be hanging from a rope or wire and has no reason to be there at all, leading some to suggest it is an overhead spotlight who is typically found in film studios. In this video here, it has been suggested that if you take the moon landing footage and increase the speed of the film faster, the astronauts appear to be moving in Earth's gravity. As for the astronauts' impressive jump height, which would be impossible to perform in Earth's gravity, hidden cables and wires have been suggested as giving the astronauts some extra height. In some screenshots, outlines of alleged hidden cables can be seen. Here, in this picture, you can see the total lack of stars in any of the photographic evidence. There are no clouds on the moon, no stars, so stars should be perfectly visible and brighter than we see through the filter of Earth's atmosphere. Here, we can see one of the most famous pictures from the moon landing. It shows a rock with the letter C engraved. The letter appears to be almost perfectly, meaning it is unlikely to be natural occurrence. It has been suggested that the rock is simply a prop with the C used as a marker by an alleged film crew. Here at the last picture, it is very strange. The two photos from the Apollo 15 mission shown above clearly have identical backdrops, despite being officially listed by NASA as having been taken miles apart. One photo even shows the lunar module. When all photographs were taken, the module had already landed, so how can it be possibly be there for one photo and disappear in another?
On 8 March, just after midnight, a Malaysian airline Boeing 777 passenger plane took off from Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia, to Beijing, China's capital city. The plane was carrying 12 Malaysian crew members and 227 passengers from 15 nations. Not long after the plane took off, one of the pilots spoke to the Malaysian traffic control. He said, "Good night, Malaysian 370. The plane was about to leave the airspace over Malaysia. The pilots were supposed to connect Vietnamese air traffic controls, but they never did. Malaysian ATC workers told the airline company that the plane could not be seen on their radar screens. Just before entering Vietnamese airspace, flight MH370 made a sharp turn to the left. The Thai military radar logs confirmed that the plane turned west and then north over the Andaman Sea. Information about the satellite showed that the plane continued to fly for 7 hours. It had enough fuel to travel for 8 hours. Experts worked out that the flight MH370 flew south. Information about the pings sent to the satellite from a plane showed it had ended up somewhere west of Australia. It must have eventually run out of fuel and crashed into the sea. There are many theories about the MH370, but all of these theories are unproven. At first, it was thought that flight MH370 crashed into the South China Sea. Some feared a bomb on the plane had exploded. One of the theories are that it was a terrorist hijacking. They suggest that flight MH370 did not crash, but is in fact being prepared for use in a terrorist spectacular. Terrorists flew the plane or forced the pilots to fly south until there was no more fuel. The second theory is about the island landing. The theory gained so much traction that US were forced to deny it. He Xin, a Chinese blogger, insists that the flight MH370 mystery was the result of a CIA special operation to gain control of some special person of the plane. A third theory tells us that the reality is certainly more mundane. Mr. Learmont, an aviation expert, says that it was actually a carefully planned suicide and revenge attack, but they will never be able to prove that. Another theory is that there was an accidental decompression. Oxygen inside the plane ran out. The pilots and passengers became unconscious. The plane then flew on autopilot until all the fuel was gone. One last theory is that the airplane was shot down by US TIE fighters during a military exercise. Civilian planes do sometimes get shot down. Korean Air Flight 007 was shot down by the Soviet Union in 1983. The US Navy downed an Iranian airliner in 1988, and MH17 appears to have been shot down by mistake. In all cases, the crashes were reported very quickly. It might seem hard to believe that the US and Thai government would either want or be able to hush up the shooting down of Boeing 777 for 6 months. But part of the conspiracy theories is to shout cover up. Once the theory includes government cover-ups, it's incredibly hard to prove these things isn't true. Some people now suspect that the mystery of what happened to fly MH370 may never be solved. Others have described it as the most puzzling disappearance in history.
So I will talk about the conspiracy theory that Tupac is still alive. Some people say that he's still alive. For example, Eminem said that he moved to Cuba in 2016. He said that hip-hop hasn't been the same since Tupac moved to Cuba on us. In addition, Suge Knight, the former CEO of Death Row Records, said Tupac is not dead, he's somewhere smoking a Cuban cigar. Then Tupac could also still be alive, releasing his music through Casinova da Don, and he could be Tupac's new frontman that Tupac writes the song for him. Tupac's former bodyguard, Big Frank, was also found dead, and someone called 911, and this might be Tupac because the police couldn't release, they said that they couldn't release the identity of the caller. And there was also a faked autopsy photo, not based on actual medical practice and didn't derive from the official police files. And then there was also a photo in BMW taken one day after the shooting of Tupac. And there was also a selfie that claimed that Tupac is hiding in Cuba, and this was in 2015. Tupac was also caught on video in 2011 on a show, and there's also a picture where he's hugging Rihanna, but Rihanna was only 8 years old when he died. So on the photo she is older. And there was also no funeral or any record of a tribute of Tupac.
Princess Diana died in Paris, France on 31st August 1997 as a result of a car accident. The case was investigated by Judge Hervé Stephen. He said after the investigation that the car of the paparazzi had enough distance from the Mercedes of Princess Diana when the accident happened, and they couldn't be the reason for the crash. After the British examination in 2008, a jury found that the paparazzi followed the car and provoked the accident. Her full name was Diana Frances Spencer. She was also named Princess Di since 29 July 1981. She was born in July 1961. She died at the age of 36. The accident passed just after midnight on 31st August in a tunnel from Paris after they left the Ritz Hotel. Princess Diana's death. The Princess of Wales died in a car in Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, France. The car was a Mercedes-Benz S280 and it crashed at 12:30 in the morning. She sat She sat in the car with her driver Henry Paul, the royal bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones, and her boyfriend Dodi Al-Fayed. The bodyguard was the only survivor of the accident. A wrecked motorcycle was found at the crash scene, but police did not identify its owner. They arrested 5 photographers and the case was opened. An 18-month French judicial investigation found that the accident was caused by the driver. Paul is accused of drunk driving and losing control of the car at high speed. Although Paul was the main representative of the security of the Hotel Ritz, owned by Dodi's father, where Diana stayed at the time in Paris. He provoked the paparazzi, who was waiting outside of the hotel for the princess. The paparazzi followed the Mercedes. The MI6. Apparently Diana was a threat to the throne. Would the Secret Service be able to just wipe her out? Files do exist that the MI6 once plotted to destroy the entire Labour government in the 70s. This means it is not impossible for the Secret Service to plan something like this. Additionally, the MI6 was known for bugging Diana her whole life, hounding her and even releasing personal information. Also, the bodyguard who survived had ties to the Secret Service. Dodi as a target. This theory claims that the actual target was Dodi Al-Fayed,